I recently read Sex, Drugs, and Cocoa Puffs by this dude, and it's been on my wish list for a really long time. I don't remember why it's on my wish list. Probably because it says it's a low culture manifesto, and that seems like something I would be into, I guess. No idea. But when I saw it, I remember that I wanted it, and I picked it up. And I recently had a chance to read it. The book got me thinking about cool. And I got nothing. Never could be cool. Can't. Not possible for me. The reason being is I am about 10 years behind on anything relevant. Now, my family has had a computer since about 1994, and I am just now finding out what was popular then. I lived through it, somehow missed it. No idea why. And I'm pretty much that way till today. I have no idea what's going on in current events outside of Tumblr, and I have no idea what's popular. Seriously, I didn't know MySpace was a thing until MySpace was over. Now, I still don't have a Facebook. No, it's a thing. That's an improvement. But I really don't want to go there. No. And it got me thinking, what would I be considered cool for if I had to pick something? And it came to mind that I'm pretty good about fashion. That is what everyone seems to compliment me on. It's what people notice. It's gotten to the point that people have given me compliments and I'm starting to recognize them just from that. And it's always strange to me because when I was in junior high and pretty much all through high school, I was a person who wore the 3 pairs of jeans they had, t-shirts, and awful, awful hoodies. I had a monkey on one, and no. Now, my mom was a single mother during this time, and she always tried to find ways to save money. So I did have quite a few hand-me-downs or things picked up from thrift shops, and I hated it then, even though it's something I really love now. My mom was one of those people who gets fashion. She's good at it. She always looks really nice when she wants to. And she always had a habit of picking me up those really unique items that, for an adult, they would appreciate them. I didn't appreciate them, and neither did my classmates. That was one of the few things I was really ever bullied for. And it wasn't that bad, but it was something that stuck in my mind, even now. I'm not quite sure when I started taking consideration for how I dress, but it definitely came after high school. I'm not sure what made me decide to do that, but one thing that really changed was the fact that I decided I didn't like the people who are in my life, and I decided I'm just not gonna care. Not gonna care one lick about anyone but myself and my own interests. That's not to say I didn't care about the people who treated me well, but it's just the people in my life then just were not worth it. So I believe that not caring is what really decided for me to invest in myself, and I think that's where my sense of fashion came from. And now I am a clothes junkie. I appreciate all the hand-me-downs I get from my mom simply because she has good taste. They're quality items I can't get, and now I am left with a closet full of a lot of different types of clothes, and I consider it a very fun challenge to sit there and try and take so many different styles of clothing and put it together. And I'm really glad that I'm recognized for it. It's something I enjoy so much. It feels good to be able to pull off something unique and creative and be recognized for it. What can I say? Bit of an attention seeker. I'm on YouTube now. Bound to happen. As for the book, I'm I'm not sure how to describe it. Part of me wants to say it's a little bit Night Owls on Tumblr, little bit overcritical of mundane thoughts, little bit, lot of bit pop culture from the 80s and early 90s, which most of it I missed out on, but somewhere along the way I did catch reruns of Saved by the Bell. I'm a big fan of sociology type essays, the consideration of, oh, how does this affect this in society? And he takes the small things like TV shows, cereal commercials, yada yada, and places them into a social context. And I love that type of writing. Maybe not all the time, but this book is definitely worth picking up. It's a quick read, it's not overly challenging, but it does make you think, at least about yourself and your places in society, how these topics affect you, and he's quite clever while doing it. In this book, he has 23 questions he asks to get to know people. I want to read just a few of them and answer them for you. Let us assume you meet a rudimentary magician. Let us assume he can do 5 simple tricks. He can pull a rabbit out of his hat. He can make a coin disappear. He can turn the ace of spades into the joker card, and 2 others in a similar vein. These are his only tricks, and he can't learn any more. He can do only these 5. However, it turns out he's doing these 5 tricks with real magic. It's not an illusion. He can actually conjure the bunny out of the ether, and he can move coins through space. He's legitimately magical, but extremely limited in scope and influence. Would this person be more impressive than Albert Einstein? And I'm going to say no. This question is asking if he alone is more impressive than Albert Einstein. Well, his tricks, even if they're done with real magic, can be done in a multitude of different ways. Someone can do it even if they're not done with magic. And I would argue that Albert Einstein is unique. No one could think like he could. The question is about impressiveness, and the magician just is not as impressive as Albert Einstein. His contributions were huge and still very important. Now, if you could say important or could lead to new discoveries, that would be a whole nother issue, because if we could study magic, then it might be important or lead to really new discoveries, even more so than Albert Einstein. But that's not really what the question was asking. Let us assume there are 2 boxes on a table. In one box, there is a relatively normal turtle, and the other, Adolf Hitler's skull. You have to select one of these items for your home. If you select the turtle, you cannot give it away, and you have to keep it alive for 2 years. If either of these parameters are not met, you will be fined $999 by the state. If you select Hitler's skull, you are required to display it in a semi-permanent location in your living room for the same amount of time, although you will be paid a stipend of $120 per month for doing so. Display the skull must be apolitical. What option do you select? Adolf Hitler. I have a video on my channel wondering if I'm going to even keep a plant alive for 6 months, let alone a turtle. And quite frankly, I don't have the money for that, to be fined or to feed it. And Hitler's skull comes with a stipend. I could use that. Quite frankly, if I had a living room to display that in, note this is not my house, so not my living room. If I had that, chances are I already have some dead animal hanging on the wall somewhere else. Artists in their look for skulls. It's not weird. Not weird at all. Promise. So if I already had an animal hanging on the wall, the skull might go unnoticed. And if it's not, well, The question is, if it's apolitical, could I comment that everyone should be glad he's dead and that his skull is just a reminder of that happy fact? Can I do that? Can I do that? I would like to do that. You meet the perfect person. Romantically, this person is ideal. You find them physically attractive, intellectually stimulating, consistently funny, and deeply compassionate. However, they have one quirk. This individual is obsessed with Jimmy Henson's gothic puppet fantasy, The Dark Crystal. Beyond watching it on DVD at least once a month, he or she peppers casual conversation with dark crystal references, uses dark crystal analogies to explain everyday events, and occasionally likes to talk intensely about the film's deeper philosophy. Would this be enough to stop you from marrying this individual? Quite frankly, I'm more likely to be that person. Okay, maybe not. I am quite obsessive about several things. I read Jurassic Park every year or so. Same with Harry Potter and certain TV shows I will binge watch 100 episodes with every year. But I'm not quite so bad as to pepper it into everyday conversation. Thank goodness. I did love The Dark Crystal when I was a kid. I'm addicted to iced coffee, and this has been a terrible, terrible week for that. Started with tipping it over while photographing art. Then the next day, had my dog stick her nose in it. And then just the other day, caramel syrup all over the place. All over. And I just hope this week is over and I can drink my coffee in peace.